Below is your long, emotional, 36-minute video-style K-drama recap, featuring step-siblings whose bond grows into something deeper, but with all the drama, pain, secrets, and healing characteristic of Korean romance dramas. Heartbreak, love between us, emotional K-drama recap, long story. Korean drama recap, movie summary style, long paragraphs. Fire powerful hook. When the ambulance doors slammed shut, Seo-jun felt the ground vanish beneath him. His step-sister, Eun-ha, the girl who had once stood beside him through every storm, lay unconscious inside, her fingers stained with blood. And as the sirens wailed into the night, the truth he had buried for years rose from the depths of his heart. He wasn't afraid of losing a sister. He was terrified of losing the only person he had ever truly loved. Cloud with Rain Episode 1, Two Strangers Under One Roof. 10 years earlier, Eun-ha arrived at the Seo household holding nothing but a small suitcase and eyes filled with quiet grief. Her mother had remarried, and suddenly she had a new family, including a boy her age, Seo-jun, who barely acknowledged her presence. They were called brother and sister, but they were nothing alike. Seo-jun was stormy, impulsive, and quick to anger. Eun-ha was gentle, apologetic, and carried a loneliness that clung to her like fog. They barely spoke at first. But sometimes, bonds form quietly, like roots underground. Crescent Moon Episode 3, The Roof They Shared. It began with a stormy night. Thunder shook the windows. Eun-ha, frightened, had slipped onto the rooftop to calm herself. Seo-jun found her there, trembling, soaked from the rain but unable to move. He shrugged off his school jacket and placed it around her shoulders. "You can sit with me until it stops," he muttered. She nodded, clutching the jacket. It was the first of many rooftop nights, the place where they complained about school, whispered their fears, and learned the shapes of each other's wounds. They didn't know it then, but the rooftop would become the heart of their story. Sun Behind Small Cloud Episode 6, A Bond That Felt Different. Years passed. They were no longer strangers. They were no longer merely step-siblings. But as they grew older, something unspoken stretched between them, a tenderness neither dared name. Eun-ha noticed the way Seo-jun gently pushed her hair behind her ear. Seo-jun noticed the way Eun-ha waited at the gate after school just to walk home with him. People whispered. Friends teased. Teachers raised eyebrows. "Why do you always protect her like that? It's weird how close you two are." Seo-jun brushed it off. But every time someone called Eun-ha his sister, he felt something twist in his chest. Something dangerous. Something real. Fire Episode 10, The Promise They Shouldn't Have Made. The night before Eun-ha's university entrance exams, she panicked, convinced she would fail, convinced she wasn't good enough. Seo-jun found her in tears and cupped her trembling hands. "You're stronger than you think," he whispered. "And no matter where you go, I'll follow." It was a reckless promise, said too softly under the moonlight. But Eun-ha believed him. And that belief would shape the rest of her life. Heartbreak Episode 13, The Lie That Broke Everything. Their parents divorced unexpectedly. Eun-ha's mother moved away, and Eun-ha was offered a scholarship abroad. The night before her departure, she asked Seo-jun, "Should I stay?" Seo-jun's heart screamed yes, but he forced himself to shake his head. "You should go. Live your life." Eun-ha stepped back as if struck. "So, I mean nothing to you." Seo-jun clenched his fists. If he told her the truth, he feared it would shatter them both. "You're my sister," he lied. Nothing more. It was the cruelest sentence he had ever spoken. And it changed everything. New Moon Episode 17, Years Without Words. For 3 long years, they didn't speak. Eun-ha threw herself into her studies. Seo-jun drowned himself in work, building a quiet but successful career. They became ghosts in each other's lives, avoiding, forgetting, pretending. But every time Seo-jun walked past the rooftop, he felt her absence like an open wound. And every time Eun-ha stared at her reflection, she wondered why the person she tried to erase was the only one she couldn't. Fog Episode 21, The Return. Eun-ha returned to Seoul unexpectedly, Thin, exhausted, carrying secrets she refused to reveal. Their first meeting was painfully formal. Long time, she said softly. Yeah, Seo Jun answered, coldly. Their eyes betrayed them. Their hearts did too, but neither dared cross the line they had drawn years ago. Not until the night everything collapsed. Ambulance episode 24, The Accident. Eun-ha fainted in the street during a freezing rainstorm, collapsing in front of Seo Jun's office. When he carried her into the he discovered the truth. She had been fighting chronic anemia, hiding it from everyone, surviving on almost nothing. Seo Jun's voice cracked as he whispered to the unconscious girl on the hospital bed. You should have told me, I never stopped caring. Heartbreak episode 26, The Confession That Couldn't Stay Hidden. When Eun-ha finally opened her eyes, she found Seo Jun asleep beside her, holding her hand as if afraid to let go. Why are you here? She asked weakly. Because I'm done running, he said. I'm done pretending you're just my sister. You never were. Silence. Then tears. Then the truth they had feared for years finally came out. Fragile, trembling, real. But love built on pain doesn't heal easily. Sunrise episode 30, Healing What Was Broken. They didn't rush into anything. They didn't cross forbidden lines. Instead, they rebuilt trust. As adults, as equals, as two people who had always been more than labels could contain. Their parents supported them. Friends understood. And slowly, the world stopped judging, because love that grows from shared wounds is not shameful. It's human. Rainbow final episode, The Rooftop once more. On a warm spring evening, they returned to the rooftop, the place where everything began. The city lights shimmered below as Eun-ha spoke quietly. We went through so much, but I'm glad we didn't give up. Seo Jun took her hand. You weren't brought into my life as a sister, he said. You came as a gift I didn't know how to protect. Eun-ha leaned against him, smiling through tears. And under the quiet soul sky, they finally found peace, not forbidden, not hidden, but honest. Glowing star final message, the drama's core theme. Sometimes family is chosen, not born. Sometimes love grows where society least expects. And sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is tell the truth our hearts have always known.